What I'd like to do is just give you a broad outline of how management have so-called negotiated with the trade unions and our understanding of their tactics and how we can best deal with the tactics in terms of getting them back on the table. I say this because maybe some of you haven't noticed, but in the letters you had, there are a few paragraphs that refer to how closely the council has worked with the trade union and how disappointed they are that we can't balance the members and how effectively how they can't understand how having worked closely with them so far, we suddenly disagree with the proposal that they think, even though they're over 3,000 litres, they think are fair and equitable. Well, they did discuss and try to negotiate with us from May until December. But in May and December, we had the same difficulty on each occasion, the same difficulty as we started with. In order for there to be a fair and robust single status new grading system, you can't do it on the cheap. You've got to put enough money in to make sure it's fair and you haven't got no users. They never did that from the beginning. I think they had something around about £4 million, I think it was, for the start negotiation. They told us straight away that the scheme that they wanted to introduce cost £6 to £7 million. So they didn't have enough money to start with, but they got that extra money from reducing your terms and conditions. So they were taking money from, say, your weekend enhancements or your overtime payments or your bank holiday payments. They transferred that in order to pay for a new basic scheme, and that basic scheme itself has got too many losers in. So they didn't have enough money to start with. The scheme that they had to borrow money from terms and conditions. So as well as people losing, cutting their basic pay, some people lost cutting their basic pay and their terms and conditions. And even though some people gained, I think there's about 5,000 gainers, those gains don't correspond with the level of loss. And something like 1,000 or more of those gainers are going to lose in the weekend enhancement. So it was quite clear, although we tried our best, that we could not reach an agreement. And it was that point in December, they suddenly got all disappointed and couldn't understand why we couldn't agree to this. They then waited in the hope that when each trade union sent their reports to the trade union headquarters, when I, on behalf of Unison, Carl Lucas on behalf of Unite, and Alfie Phillips on behalf of GMB, send a report up with all the findings, the collective agreement. They were hoping that at the very least, the opinion we had back would be neutral. But from each national headquarters, the advice from the national officers were, no, this is not acceptable. Simply, regardless of the legal technicalities and inequalities in it, simply on the basis of it is fair, it was not acceptable. There were simply too many losers because they hadn't got enough money in. Each union headquarters said that. So when they say you make comparisons with other authorities, there's not many other authorities in Wales that have such an heavy rejection on an industrial basis elsewhere. Also, our solicitors said that the offer was potentially unlawful because the arrangements to compensate of equal pay payments was far below what they could win at the tribunal. And if the agreement didn't cover that properly, then our members would be quite entitled to say to us, look, balloting us on that, signing that, you were putting us in a disadvantaged position legally. So therefore, we couldn't ballot the members on it. Now, there's no indication of that problem in the letters you've had. You think that we're not balloting the members just to be awkward. So that is the clear advice we've had from our solicitors. We didn't give up the new year. We wrote to them as individual unions. Jointly, we wrote to them. Eventually got them back round the table in May. And believe it or not, they started off that meeting by saying, well, we made you an improved offer, which you probably haven't heard about because they took it back again. They made an improved offer. They increased the number of free circles and they increased the shift allowance for weekends. It was no great shit, but of course we would have put that to yourselves. They refused to engage properly in compensating or equal pay and shift allowance. We refused to do that. We waited again for a reconvened meeting for months. Writing to them, explaining to them. We even had other solicitors to write to their solicitors, and they ignored each and every request. It was quite clear by the time we got to July that they were building up to write to you directly and to put an offer together that would make it, however unfair it is, would make it very difficult for you as individuals to resist, because it's a two-part offer, isn't it? Well, that's another thing. Compared to other authorities, no other authority in Wales that I'm aware of has put the offer in two parts like this. Now you might be asking yourself, well, why is that? Why is it that our equal pay members are asked to sign a property agreement to waive away their rights? You can understand that with the authority getting a very long from the tribunal. But what does everybody else who hasn't got an equal pay say? Who probably never think of one or probably can't do one? Why are they doing it? Why have you got to sign the property agreement to get protection, to get the beneficial assimilation to the new grade, to get the extra graduation payment? Why isn't that simply part of the offer? Well, the reason is that they know, because they're asking our equal pay members to sign it, that is potentially unlawful. That's why we can't do it. So they try to get everybody to sign the property agreement to give away their rights. So they have the defense of saying, well, we're not taking on them, we're asking everybody to do it. At the same time, tempting people in a divisive way to sign up before they've had a chance to consider or know or to be advised by us. Because we wanted to, even if they didn't have the gumption to face you, once they knew that we disagreed, we wanted to consult with them so that we knew when they were sending the letters out to you, so that we would arrange with them to have proper work time off to come to the weekend, instead of doing them like this in the evening and talking with them. But they did not cooperate because they decided to take this divisive course.